Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome inside episode 376 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan in the heart of enemy territory, downtown Toronto, alongside Brandon Pillar up in Collingwood. And despite it being the dog days of summer when it comes to Sens news, we've got a Kraken on today's show. Yes, Seattle Kraken goalie Joey Daccord joins us for an official exit interview for his 6 years as a member of the Ottawa organization. We go over how he found out he was selected by the Kraken, who called him from the Sens organization, the excitement going to a new franchise for the second time. Hell, he did it at Arizona State. And then, of course, we reminisce of his time in Ottawa with some fun stories. If you know Joey, you know it's a great interview. So stay tuned for all that. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day. Today is Friday, August 13th, and Pilsy, always a pleasure having Dax on the show.
Oh yeah, as a goalie-friendly show, getting a friendly goalie on the show is always great. So it's a bittersweet moment having him on, but you know what? It's going to be so exciting to see the opportunity he gets in Seattle, and we'll always cherish the memories of him back in Ottawa because he had a lot of really good moments, and as you'll hear in our interview, he went over some of those stories.
Yeah, we asked him to power rank signing his first contract, playing his first NHL game, and getting his first NHL win. But Pilsy, we also asked him if he was aware that playing that one game at the end of the 2018-19 season would make him eligible for this Seattle Kraken draft. And he said that that was a part of the reason why he signed his contract. I thought that was some really cool insight into the behind the scenes of contracts and how they come together.
Yeah, very interesting. Like, I don't think anyone in the fan realm or even a lot of reporters probably were thinking when Joey Daccord got called up after his time at ASU, like, oh man, that's going to affect the Seattle expansion draft. Like, that was not on anyone's radar. So very interesting that that was something that they went over. But like he says, you get an opportunity to play your first NHL game coming off your college career. You're taking that 10 times out of 10, no matter what the kind of, I don't want to say repercussions, but the risks down the road are.
Well, he was even saying those risks could have been rewards based on the circumstances, despite how they changed. No spoilers, but he also asked us who we thought would be taken by Seattle. I thought that was a really fun part of the interview as well. But after the interview, we're going to talk about a couple of events that have come about on the waiver wire here as there's not much news, but when Chris Kelly gets a job behind the bench, that's awesome. So we're going to touch on that. And we hit 250 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you. If you are watching us live, hello. So Alfie, no, not Daniel Alfredson, but my puppy will make an appearance after we chat with Joey Daccord. But if you are listening to this, I would recommend going to subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch this interview because we also get a sneak peek, an exclusive preview of Dak's new Seattle Kraken helmet designed by none other than the legendary Shifty out in California. And it's just a bit of it. You don't get the whole thing. It's being painted as we speak. You can follow at Shifty on Instagram. He's showing some up to the minute, updates of how he's making this helmet come together. And it is absolutely fire.
Yeah, I'm surprised he showed us a sneak peek. Like, I was just going to ask him to give us a description or some of the ideas, but actually seeing it, yeah, guys, you're going to be excited because it looks sick, and that's just part of it. And his pads look good. Like, if there's one thing you can say about the Seattle Kraken is it gives a lot of opportunity for really cool design because yeah, there's not a lot of giant octopus sports teams, right? So you can kind of start the trend here. And if we know Joey and if we know Shifty, they're going to start the trend off with a bang.
So you just risked by asking Joey what's on your helmet and you got rewarded. And if you're looking to turn a risk into a reward, why not head over to BetOnline? BetOnline is the exclusive wagering app of the Locked On Podcast Network, and for good reason too. They've got the best action, the best lines and the best welcome bonuses that you could ever ask for. At BetOnline, when you go there and create your free account, because you're a listener of Locked On Senators, you are entitled to a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. All you have to do is put in the promo code Locked On. So if you put in the promo code Locked On, you'll get 50% of what you put in. So put in $200, bingo, bango, bongo, you get $100 right there for you. Put in 150 will be added to your account magically. You get what I'm saying? Of course you do. But the last part, the asterisk, and we're not going to speed it up to say it really quickly so that you don't understand what we're saying. You have to bet it to win it to earn it. But that's fair. And with the advice that you get from Pilsy's Parlay of the Day, maybe you wait till hockey season. Maybe you wait till Pilsy's Parlay is back. But what we do know is that we want you in the action. So don't sit on the sidelines. Get into the action. And don't forget the promo code Locked On to receive a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. It's BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, Pilsy, without further ado, let's get to our interview with
Seattle Kraken goaltender
Joey Daccord. All right, we now welcome back a very, very special guest. It's his fourth time joining the show, going way back to his AZ State days before the NHL contract, the 47 pro games in the Sens organization, where he earned his first NHL win last season. Now he's off on a new adventure to battle for a spot on the inaugural Seattle Kraken. Joey Daccord, welcome back to Locked On Senators. What's up, man? Great to see you.
What's going on, guys? Yeah, it's good to be back on. I always enjoy it, so thanks for having me. It feels a little weird this time, honestly, but yeah, I'm happy to be here.
The official exit interview, Joey Daccord and the Sens organization, a long way from 199th overall back in 2015. So now it's 6 years later. It's a new adventure, like I said. But let's start with your health, because you missed the last half of the season. Back to 100% now?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, I was pretty close to playing in Belleville at the end of the year, but just didn't want to risk anything for one game, honestly. I did feel pretty good. I was skating with the big club, and yeah, everything's been great this summer. I've been getting consistent treatment and just working on the whole body, honestly, now because everything's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, like you said, it seemed like you were gearing up and ready to go at the end of the season. When did you kind of make the decision to shut it down? Like you said, it's better safe than sorry, especially going into an off season like this. Like, was there a point where it really seemed like you were going to play, or was it kind of obvious that let's not push this too far here?
Well, like, to start things off, I was extremely determined to play for Ottawa.
Yeah.
Again, I remember, so after I got injured, like in the game, I was in like the little medical room right behind the bench, and there's like a little side room, and I was standing on my ankle, and I was like, look, I can put weight on it. I was like, I'm good. Let me go back in. Swear to God, I asked to go back in the game, and they were like,
no chance. Yeah.
They were like, no. I was like, I'm good. Trust me. And like at that point, adrenaline had kicked in, and yeah, I just remember I like literally I was showing them. I refused to take my equipment off. They were like, all right, take your pads off, take your skates off. I was like, no. I was like, I'm good. I'm going back in. They were like, no, you have to take it off. And then I think 15 minutes later, I got undressed in the dressing room and took my skates off and tried to stand up and almost fell over. It was not fun. That I couldn't sleep. Like the pain was, it was not fun. But I was pretty close. I was very determined to get back, and I'm sure all the training staff in Ottawa, they took great care of me. I'm sure they'll tell you they knew I wasn't gonna make it, but I had it in my head I was gonna. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it was never in doubt that you were going to shut it down. We saw you were still in Ottawa for the whole time rehabbing. Was that a no-brainer?
Yeah, I just wanted to be around the best and get, taking care of the training staff in Ottawa was awesome. And they always took unbelievable care of me. And, it's tough. Like, one of the hard things to kind of bounce around a bit about leaving was just all those relationships, training staff, equipment staff, strength coaches, and everybody. Felt like I was really close with a lot of people. So, to leave, that was tough, because they took such great care of me, and that was an emotional time for me to go through a pretty big injury like that. And they were there for me. So, to have them there throughout that was pretty important and helpful. And, I obviously took it really seriously. I was determined to make it back. And I battled probably up until probably that last week of the Belleville season. I just, at that point, I just wasn't going to have enough time to get enough practice reps.
Yeah, and then no playoffs either.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of, it's a dead end no matter what.
Yeah, I would have needed another week or two to get enough practice reps in and enough see enough pucks and kind of get the timing back of the game.
So do you know if that played a role, your injury status, into the whole expansion process?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't hear from the team at all. And that's just the way it is. It's a business. Like, I don't think they were expected to keep me updated on what they were doing. I really think, it just came down to you got to make a decision, and Ottawa's got a lot of awesome goalies in the organization. So they were going to be set no matter what. And, I spoke with a few people in the organization, and a lot of them were hoping I wasn't going to get picked once it was announced that I got, left exposed. So it's, it was unfortunate on that end, but at the same time, I'm super excited to go to Seattle. Like, Seattle's going to be sick. Whether I'm starting in the American League or up with the big club, it's going to be really cool to be a part of a new team, and something I've done before, and I'm pretty experienced with.
Yeah, no doubt. In Arizona State, we'll touch on that as well. And I do have a couple more Sens related questions. We're going to save those. I want to get to the expansion draft, the excitement around it. Well, until Frank Saravalli came and just ruined everyone's day. So obviously we found out through Frank Saravalli on Twitter. How'd you find out that you were going to be a Seattle Kraken?
So I actually didn't know. I didn't realize the list had to be in the morning. So I actually just finished up my workout. I work out in the mornings, and I was just finishing up in the gym, and I was literally on Twitter, scrolling on my phone, like trying to figure out, if there were any rumors, and there was nothing yet. But then I saw a tweet that said the list had to go in at 10. And while I was scrolling through that tweet, I got a call from Pierre, and he told me that Seattle had selected me and just, wished me the best of luck, and thanked me for my time in Ottawa, basically. So it was like a weird feeling, because it's like, it wasn't like the NHL just like entry draft where you're just so excited that you get drafted. It was like such like a weird, bittersweet feeling, like so much excitement, but just
probably a little nervous too, eh?
Oh, I was like shaking. Yeah, it was really bizarre. It was really bizarre, because you just kind of get uprooted like that. It's like, all right, now you play for a new team, and that's very, very bizarre feeling, honestly. But at the end, it ended up being super fun. I had a bunch of friends over to my house to watch. It was funny because I told all my closest friends and family. I was like, hey, you want to come over and watch the draft tonight? Should be fun. But it was already all out on Twitter. Like, I couldn't tell them that it was happening, even though I already knew. But I was like, hey, it might be fun if you came over and watched tonight.
Yeah, I think something might happen. There might be some news. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's funny. We recorded an episode right before, and I guaranteed that you were staying in Ottawa. And then, of course, that's how it goes.
Guarantee.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to will it into existence,
Yeah, you might want to chill out with those, because that's, yeah. I don't think that was going to work for you anymore, because you were dead wrong.
Yeah, we've been bitten by that quite a bit this offseason alone, but that's not a big deal. We'll just push
Who did you
through.
guys think was going to get taken?
He had Tierney, and I went with Dadonov.
Real original.
But I'll have you know, I protected you on our projections. So
yeah.
I mean, hey, you're my big game goalie. I just said, if you need a goalie to win one game, Dak's my guy. Look good, feel good, play good. So, but no, it sucks to see you go as a Sens fan, admittedly, but we've been used to this as Sens fans. The whole roster's turned over. So come playoff time, the last couple of years, we have our hashtag Sens abroad. So don't think we're going to forget about you anytime soon, because you have made, we said anyone who's played less than 20 games in Sens history hasn't made the same impact that you have, at least on ice, off ice. And that was shown in Mando and Sogard. They were putting out those Instagram stories, and that just meant that you made an impact in the community and the organization as well, even doing some touristy stuff we saw around the city of Ottawa. It sucks you didn't get to see it outside of a COVID year, right? So you didn't get the full experience, the market and all that, but maybe your first game back, some money on the board, and they'll take you out after and all that. But hey, Pilsy never shuts up about the city of Seattle either. He just loves it. So he wants to ask you if you've been there, what you know about the city.
Yeah, well, I've never been. Sorry, I just want to say a couple things to finish wrap up the Ottawa stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we get into Seattle, one, I've heard only good things about Seattle, so that's cool. But I've never been, so that'll be a new experience to me. And I'm a Boston guy, so I've heard that Seattle is the West Coast version of Boston, so should be cool on that end. But yeah, no, in Ottawa, it was, I think that was the hardest part was all my buddies. Like me and Mando and Sogard were all boys. Like we were boys. And even though we were all bouncing around different teams doing other stuff, like we have a group chat, we're just talking nonstop. Like,
Chirping Sogard for the all white gear.
Yeah, and for using my twigs, which is the reason he went 7-0, clearly.
He said you were on about the gear all the time in the bucket. We had to call him out. We had him on last month.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And and just in terms of the draft, I mean, like you look at all the goalies that Ottawa has and all the goalies that come up in the system, even the young kid that just got drafted or that just signed from last year. They got so much depth there. And honestly, I would imagine it came down to a toss-up between me and Gus, and Gus is an awesome goalie and had a great season. So, there's no, ill will there or, bitter taste. I'm incredibly grateful for my time in Ottawa. And even though I only played 8 games for Ottawa, I think, like, I got drafted back in 2016. That's really the only team NHL team I've ever been a part of. And they put so much time and effort and, development into me that I feel like I played for Ottawa for years.
Dax, this is gonna break your heart just like it broke mine. You know that if you didn't play that one game against Buffalo at the end of 2018, you wouldn't have been eligible for the draft.
I do.
Oh
yeah, that was a topic of discussion before I even played, like before I even signed that year.
Oh yeah, so they knew, right? Vegas was the year before, right?
Well, we knew too.
Okay, fair.
We like, if I'm being totally honest with you guys, I have to be totally candid. Like that, there was a reason we wanted to play that game was so that if there was a logjam of goalies in Ottawa,
fair,
that could be an option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a huge opportunity to have a couple of Brampton Beast legends between you and Driggs in there.
Yeah, me and Driggs. Yeah, what a guy. But no, and it wasn't that I wanted to leave Ottawa. It's just, hey, if you end up in a situation where there's a lot of good goalies in one place and you can go to a new team, like, and who knows, if I didn't play well, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to get drafted. And it wasn't the biggest point of concern at that time. Like for me, I wanted to play my NHL game, like coming out of school. The opportunity was there. I had a great season. I was an All-American. We made the NCAA tournament, Hobie Baker finalist and Mike Richter finalist. Like I had an awesome season in college, and I had kind of the leverage to force a game if they wanted to sign me, because I could have been a free agent that year if I had waited till the end of the summer. So they offered me the game and offered to sign, and I was like, hey, some guys play in the minors for 5-6 years before they even ever get a sniff. I was like, I can get my NHL game, and then it's out of the way, and then now it's focusing on getting there full time, right? Not waiting to hopefully get your first call up and get your first game. So obviously I played less than 2 years later in the NHL. So but I do think that game helped me a lot, and we did know it was very minor, but we did know that the expansion draft was a possibility if I did play the game. So we knew that was coming.
Yeah, and I mean, at the time, you got to look what's right in front of you, right? You're coming out of college. They're saying, hey, we can give you an NHL game here and maybe an NHL contract coming up. You're going to take that and not worry about the risk a couple of years down the road. So I don't fault you for that at all.
Well, and it's not Ottawa's fault either, because they wanted to sign me, and that was the last point. We had all the numbers figured out and all the details and everything, and it was like it basically teetered on that, honestly. But I really wanted to be in Ottawa too, and it was like we all agreed, and we were all on the same page, and it worked out great on that end. Obviously, on the flip side, on the back end of it, I'm gone now. But hey, that's the nature of pro hockey and the business side of this.
Yeah, and you're going to get a good opportunity. Seattle's a great city, like you mentioned. Now, you said it's kind of tough leaving guys and relationships in Ottawa. Do you have any relationships with any of the current members of the Seattle Kraken already? Do you know any of those guys?
The only guy I know is Driggs. Me and
Right.
Chris Pager were boys. Funny enough, like his girlfriend's from the Boston area. And
Okay.
So last summer, we met. He started coming to skate where I skate and work out, where I'm in the gym, and started hanging out with me, and we kind of became good buddies and kept in touch throughout the season. And then at the beginning of the summer, he came back to Boston, and I'm living in Boston right now. And we were just hanging out. We were actually on my balcony, and we were just hanging out, and he was laughing because I was like, "Hey, what do you got cooking around? Like, what are you thinking for next year?" And he's like, "Oh, sounds like Seattle's, pretty interested." And I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." And then I was like, "Well, if I don't get protected, there's a good chance I probably end up over there." And we were like making jokes about being goalie partners. Then next thing you know, bang, it actually happened. So
wow.
we were laughing about it, and I'm excited. Like when you are teammates with someone and you become friends with them through being a team, especially as goalie partners, it's a little bit different. Like you obviously cheer for each other and you're very supportive of each other. But when you're like actually just friends with someone away from hockey before like playing together, and now all of a sudden you're on the same team, I feel like that's like so cool. So him and I are pretty fired up about that. It's hockey, so I'm at some point hopefully going to be up there, and me and him will be goalie partners. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, a little bit of uncertainty, at least while Charlotte is the American League affiliate for 1 year there. And then hopefully we don't have to worry about Palm Springs. But if you do, it could be worse places. Shifty texted me actually when you got picked. He's like, I want to go golfing with him in Palm Springs.
He's
so
all over me about it.
I love it. Well, he's got work to do right now.
Oh, yeah. He's got his ideas cooking. You guys want a sneak peek?
Yeah, let's see it. This
absolutely.
is a YouTube exclusive. Go subscribe, Locked On Senators on YouTube. How's that plug, Joey?
Let's give you guys a little sneak peek of the old Bucky.
I wasn't even going to dare come with a suggestion this time. I got shut down so fast last year.
Not happening.
No. And I mean, man, with the Kraken, there's so many different ways you can go with this. Like, and there's never really been like a Kraken type team that I can think of. So you could really be a trendsetter here.
Yeah. Hang on here. I'm going to pull up my phone.
In the meantime, we know you're a nickname guy. The Slovakian Sledgehammer, Christian Jaros, the franchise. Okay, here we go.
That's a little bit of the gear.
Okay,
nice.
Yep. Right, so that's a little bit of that, and then I got the bucket. Just so it's like a big airbrush going on one side.
Yeah, Shifty posts his new equipment every day.
So I'm gonna put my fingers through the middle of this.
Okay, here. We got to see the sides. Oh, one sec, you zipped out.
Yeah, hang on. Give you one of those.
Wow, there it is.
That's sick, man.
There it is.
We'll see.
All
pressure's
right.
on, 50. Pressure's on. I know you're listening, so pressure's on.
100%. Hey, speaking of gear, what the hell are you gonna do with that red, white, and black brand new True setup?
I'm disappointed I never got to break that out in Ottawa because that set is sick.
It's so nice. Hey, you know what makes up for it though?
To Mando.
Yeah. Well, hey, we saw you convinced Mads to get the new gear. He looks good coming into next year. I was mentioning your big nickname guy. The franchise caught on like wildfire. We've been calling Mads the Great Dane, 6'8", big Danish guy. Give us a 5-star rating on that.
Like a 4.2.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
All right.
The Great Dane's pretty good. I feel like you can get a little more original.
Yeah.
But Great Dane's, it's like just solid.
It's a good starting point.
There's no need to explain it. I think that's why it works great. You get it.
Unlike Gus the Bus needs to go. We've been saying that for years. Oh my!
I'm not a big fan.
Yeah. We've been trying to get that shut down.
You call him Dwight, don't you? You guys all have the office nicknames for each other.
Yeah, he's Dwight. For obvious reasons.
Are you? So you might donate those to Mando.
To be fair, me. Okay, so it was me, Branny, and Gus. So
yeah,
Branny claimed himself as Jim, which was one of the more preposterous moves I've ever seen.
Self-claim.
Yeah, that was wild. And then he claimed me as Michael.
That's not bad though.
There's some discrepancies there. I have a little bit of Michael in me.
Do you keep much of your memorabilia? Like, what are you going to keep from your time in Ottawa?
I have all my buckets.
Okay.
I have all my masks. Shifty asked to buy one of my masks, and I was like, one, if I was going to give you one, I would just give it to you.
Yeah.
2, I keep all of them. You know what I mean? So I'll probably give him one at some point. I've kept pretty much every mask since high school. Every painted mask I've had since high school. But yeah, I keep all my buckets. Some of the gear goes back, like during the season when you go through sets of gear, the team takes it back and they sell it. But the set that you finish the year with, you usually take home. So yeah, I got right now. I just got my set that I got at the end of the year, and new set should be coming in pretty soon here for Seattle.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, the sneak peeks look great. Now, you have an idea what you're doing. Does your buddy Chris have ideas what he's doing for his setup?
Yeah. He's got something up his sleeve. His pads are going to be sick.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, he showed me.
Oh man, I can't like your design looks amazing. I can't wait to see what he does, what Grubauer does. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so he's got a little custom thing going. So it's not actually just like a design. He's got a little custom graphic on there.
Okay, that's a good enough kind of sneak. Hey, so no surprise there.
I'm giving you guys far too much information here.
No, that's what it is. That's what an exit interview.
So anti the regular hockey interview. Hey, yeah, we're gonna get the puck in deep and get on the forecheck and take quick.
That's what we're trying to do here, though. We're a couple tendies. Like I'd rather talk about the gear than like stats and graphs and charts. So
no, that's fair.
100%, man. And hey, the Seattle, they gave you something nice to work with. That color scheme's awesome too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We get 3 different shades of blue. Well, maybe even, I think there's a 4th one, and then a little splash of red too. So should be pretty cool. It's fun to have a lot of colors to work with because then you can get creative with it.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm still mad every time I think about it that was True Gear didn't get to go. Hey, if you want to send us anything, we're getting a studio after, so you can always keep a little bit of you. No, but to be in all seriousness, Noodles, if you go and take a peek, I think he's posted on his Instagram. He has this like sick shelving with all of his old masks in it. It looks awesome. I'm sure you'll have a nice collection by the end of the day.
Yeah, I'd love to do something like that. Yeah, for sure. And
no doubt you kept your jersey from your first win.
I got my first game, my first win. I got a good amount of jerseys actually. I gave my dad my black game jersey from this year. I got it framed up for him and stuff.
Nice.
And then I think that's all I have for game jerseys right now.
We wanted to ask you to power rank, and this might be the toughest question we throw at y'all all interview is the 3 main experiences you had in Ottawa. The feeling of getting drafted, your first game, or your first win. Which one, when you look back, you think you'll remember the most?
What's funny is that my first NHL game would probably be number 1.
That was a wild ride. You talked us through how you got there, and I can see that being pretty memorable.
Well, and just because I literally was in college on Saturday. I was in class Monday morning.
In Arizona too.
Class, but I was on campus Monday morning, and then I was playing in the NHL on Thursday. And it's like
branding
I had 1 practice and 1 morning skate, and it was like, all right, let's see if you can do this, dude. I was like, there's just so much uncertainty versus like my first win. I'd already played 5 games that or this year. So like, I was pretty in the rhythm of games. It felt obviously unbelievable to actually finally win a game. But that first, I still have like this like freeze frame in my head of like the arena in Buffalo where it just looked like I have like a still shot of like a painting, just like looks like a painting. I don't know why.
Mental snapshot. Yeah.
Stuck with me. I remember like last TV timeout, everyone was just telling me before the game, just like, just take it all in, enjoy the moment, be present. And I just like every TV timeout, I just like look around. I'm just like, what is my life right now? That was pretty surreal. The draft, I think, would have been cooler had I been at the draft, but I was at home. And while that was very fun and like incredibly exciting, playing in front of 22 or whatever 1,000 people in Buffalo and not knowing if I was good enough to hang. Like, imagine if I had given up 3 goals in the first 4 shots and it was see you later. Like, that would have been a nightmare. So there was just like so much pressure and anxiety and nerves but at the end of the day, pressure is a privilege to me. Like, that's how I viewed it. And I didn't put any extra pressure on myself, but it was just such a insane thing. Like Spencer Knight did it this year where he played out of school. Like, goalies don't do that. Players do it all the time, but goalies don't do that. So that was pretty crazy. That was definitely number 1 for me. I don't know if you can really choose between the draft or the first win because they were both incredible experiences too. So I'll give them a tie for second.
Yeah. And like you said, it's crazy for the goalies to do that because, like, let's say you're a left winger or whatever. Your coach can shelter you, get you in good matchups. Maybe you only play 7 minutes. You get veteran line mates, but a goalie, you're out there on your own. Like, there's no help. It's just you in that crease, so that's tough.
In the middle of a rebuild.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you're definitely not set up
Was
in
that
the
the year we
best spot that
finished
you want.
last place, or was it second to last?
No, it was last.
Second last. What
Was it
was that?
last?
Second last?
Man,
That
the
was
fact that's what we're
2018,
arguing.
Yeah, the fact that we can't
Damn.
remember whether it was last.
You
or
know what's
second
even
last.
more sad? You know how I remember it? I know they finished last because that's the year they didn't have the first round pick, and then it fell from first to fourth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, that's just how that goes. But hey, you get
Yeah.
into an NHL game. It doesn't matter whether it's the 90s Devils in front of you or whichever team getting into a game, no doubt has to be a focal point. But then you got into a rhythm in Belleville the next year. You even had a cup of coffee with Brampton, and then you make it up to Belleville. Can you guarantee? I mean, we look back and, you know, things in the rearview mirror a little clearer, but that was a Calder Cup caliber team you guys had down there.
We could have made a run. I think we would have had a strong chance to make the finals, and then I think it would have been a toss-up between us and Milwaukee in the finals. Milwaukee had a sick team that year. We played them a couple times. I think I played them. I personally played them once, and we lost 2-1, and it was a really, really good hockey game, just like a chess match, honestly. So I think we would have had a really good series with them. I think it would have been a toss-up, honestly. But there were some sneaky good teams too. Like that year. Who was it?
Rochester had a decent team
Rochester
too.
had a good team. And then Laval, I think it was maybe wasn't Laval. It was Laval had a decent team, but it was Bingo went on that run. They won like 18 out of 21 games, and they in last place, and they were going to sneak into the last playoff spot, and they would have been a real tough team to play too. So there were a lot of good teams that year. I mean, I think playoffs would have been, you know, survival of the fittest.
Yeah, and last question for me, Joey. Thanks for taking some time to talk to us. And you guys were one of those great teams, as you mentioned. Did you feel, and it sucks the playoffs got cut short, but did you feel you really had the core to do that? Like not just on the ice, but off the ice? Because you often hear about teams that go to the Stanley Cup Finals, that go to the Calder Cup Finals, and some of the first things that the guys say is, we just mesh so good as a group, it just all together. Like after the game, we're all getting together. We're talking about what we're going to do to beat the guys the next night. Like how close was that core in Belleville? And now a lot of those guys up in Ottawa.
Yeah. I mean, the core was really solid. I think we always just talked about, most of us agreed that we had never played on a team that had so much swag.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
We just had a swagger about us. We went into every barn, home or away, and we knew we were going to win. Like we just had it going on that year. And I think, you know, at the core of every team too is like, yeah, like we had a great group of guys. We had a lot of character guys. We had a lot of guys that got along really well, but we also had a lot of good freaking hockey players, like good players, guys that are going to have great NHL careers. And you know, that always, like you can say Tampa Bay has a great core and good camaraderie, but they got good hockey players. Like, you know, it's not all about how you mesh as a group. It's definitely a huge part of it, but they, you know, that team top to bottom, that team in Belleville top to bottom was a lot of good hockey players and a lot of good guys, and that's a good recipe for success.
Was there one of them that you didn't know about before you got to be in the same locker room as him that jumped off the page?
Belleville?
Yeah.
I mean, we had so many guys. We like a lot of even the minor league guys that were on American League deals were just great dudes too. You know, I think the biggest one is probably Schmatzhoff. He's hilarious, just like an unreal dude, so funny. And Noof and Branny and all these guys, like we just got along really well, and we had a great group. So
that led me right into my last question, Joey. It's the Seattle Kraken against the Ottawa Senators. It's the 2026 Stanley Cup Final, overtime. Breakaway coming down. Who are you hoping to look up and see? One of your former guys you got to play with?
Well, it depends, because Noof will either go low blocker or try to go like chip it over my glove.
He's shooting it, that's for sure.
Branny would do his, like, he does this move where he like pulls it really far to his backhand and then pulls it all the way back across to his forehand. Schmatzy would probably try to go backhand. Let's see who else. Timmy would probably go 5-hole. Brady always does this move where he takes it and he like kind of opens up his blade and then he like flicks it up high glove. He tried it on me in college, actually. Hit the crossbar when we played ASU played BU. He hit the bar. I got lit up that night. I don't want to talk about it. the next night was a good game. First night was not good. Let's see, who else would there be? I think that was pretty much the top.
Connor Brown, first half of the season, would have probably gone high and wide, and then he just went laser focus in the second half.
Well, he was due.
Yeah.
Due. Once that barrier came down, it came flying down.
Yeah, what was it? 7 straight games?
It was a franchise record. Yeah.
8, I think he scored
8. Yeah, 8, because Schmatzy had 7, and then he one-upped them.
Yeah.
And then one guy you probably don't want to see on a breakaway is Alex Formanton coming at you.
Yeah, he's just super fast. He's super fast. But he usually tries to go backhand 5-hole. Or he does like his he kind of does like that McDavid move where he'll come in on his backhand side and like chip it back high glove. But he tries to go backhand 5-hole a lot.
I like that. A little scouting report. So if I'm the Sens, I'm hoping in the Western Conference Final that you guys, bounce. But hey, as we mentioned, we're gonna be following your career all day, all year, all next decade. We know it's a really bright future for you, Joey. Okay, give us a headline. You're a friend of the show now. Before we go, is there any doubt that Brady Tkachuk is the captain of the Ottawa Senators?
Oh, that's a little unfair to put me on the spot like that.
All right. We had to try, buddy.
Honestly, like Brady is an unbelievable leader. So is Shabby, and there's a lot of good guys in that room that are very suited to be leaders. Whether it's Brady or Shab or anybody else, they're going to be a good fit for that group, and that group has nothing but bright future. So I'm looking forward to keep following along and seeing the continued growth and success of the team. I obviously have a lot of friends there, and I wish nothing but the best for them and the organization, just not when they play Seattle.
And we wish you nothing but the best either, Joey. You've been a consummate professional your time in Ottawa ever since going back to being drafted. And we mentioned #Sens Abroad. You'll be seeing that in your notifications quite a bit going forward because we know it's a bright future for you, man. So all the best. Thanks for taking some time with us again. And we look forward to seeing all your career, how it unfolds coming up.
No worries. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
All right, Pillsy. So thank you very much to Joey Daccord for taking the time. I may have gone a little overboard with that last question, but he's a friend of the show. He took it well, where I basically told him to tell us that Brady Tkachuk was the captain. But I wish everyone could have heard the half hour we spent chatting with him afterwards. It just shows what kind of genuine person he is. The second that the recording stopped, he was asking us about our show, how we've grown it, how we're engaging with different people. And it's just, he's a curious guy. He's a really good guy. And just because he's gone from the Ottawa Senators doesn't mean that he won't be still mentioned whenever he accomplishes something on this show.
Yeah, it was great to chat with him off the record. We're just kind of hanging out, talking hockey and talking about the podcast. And yeah, he said, now that I'm not a Senator, I don't think Sens fans are going to be too excited about this. We were like, no, Joey, no.
Buddy.
Fans have been waiting for this interview. Everyone still loves you in Ottawa. We're sad to see you go. But yeah, he's a guy, keep your eye out for him, because I definitely can see him doing some broadcasting after his career is done. He has a long career ahead of him. I'm not saying it's coming anytime soon, but this is a guy that can give candid answers. He's fun to talk to. He'll give you an honest opinion, and he doesn't no comment anything, No. If even that Brady question, he at least gave you something.
No doubt. And he would also give me the gears if we didn't plug his Instagram, where he's pretty active, at JDac35. And JDac's got a big drive ahead of him because he's got to get from Boston to Seattle. And if his car's not working well, it's rockauto.com. He knows it. He's a friend of the show. It's the only place that has you covered for anything that's going wrong with your auto or body parts. And you can get them there from hundreds of manufacturers. It's a family business. They've been doing this for over 20 years online. They have everything from engine control modules and brake parts to tail lamps, motor oil. You can even get your new carpet there. And whether it's for your classic or daily drive, get everything you need in a few easy clicks delivered directly to your door. The rockauto.com catalog is unique and remarkably easy to navigate. Quickly see all the parts available for your vehicle and choose the brands, specifications, and prices you prefer. Best of all, those prices. Let's stick with it, because the prices at rockauto.com are always reliably low, and the same for professionals and do-it-yourselfers. Here comes the rhetorical question again. Why spend up to twice as much on the same parts? Don't do it. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. All we ask is that you put Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box. That way, they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and tell them Locked On sent you.
And Ross, speaking of Joey's drive from Boston to Seattle, he's going to be hungry on that trip. And what better snack to have on a road trip? You know, sometimes the classic snack is meat jerky. You're stopping at a gas station for chocolate bars, candy bars. Get that garbage out of here. If I'm using a Boston accent heading over to Seattle, get yourself some real protein, and you can also have the candy bar flavor you love. It's Built Bar, the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. There's so many amazing flavors to try out. You got to try all of them. I recommend getting the mix box at BuiltBar.com. The thing about Built Bar is they're low calorie, low sugar, but high protein and high fiber. So you're getting the delicious flavor without all those calories, without all that sugar. And then you're getting the health benefits of good fiber, good protein. Now, I talked about some of the amazing flavors. Well, they brought a classic good flavor back, and I'm stoked. Coconut almond. This is one of my favorite ones. I love the flakiness of coconuts, and then the flavor of almond mixed with that protein that it packs is huge. So you're looking at only 180 calories, 18 grams of protein stuffed in that bar, and some delicious flavor to go along with it as well. So how are you going to get your hands on a coconut almond Built Bar? Well, go to BuiltBar.com. They got a great website there. Use the promo code LOCKED15. We're hooking you guys up with the promo code, of course, to get 15% off your next order. Once again, BuiltBar.com, promo code LOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off your next order. It's Built Bar, the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar.
All right, Pillsy, we've got one news story to get to, but before that, the Locked On Senators YouTube channel has grown quicker than I would have imagined, and because of that, Alfie is making his first appearance for Locked On Senators. Get the Alfie chants going. Alfie's my little Labradoodle. He's an absolute beauty. Just turned 3 months old. He's still trying to chew absolutely everything. Are you shy? Alfie, go look. Look, you're on TV. You're on YouTube live. And yeah, your check's in the mail, buddy. So hey, thank you for everyone subscribing to YouTube. And at 500, so I got to make sure that it's signed. I want to say 99% sure, but I've got this Ray Emery Binghamton Senators card, and it's down there. Like I said, we're in the middle of the move, but once we get that to 500 subscribers, we're going to just randomly pick somebody who's commented on more than one video. So head to YouTube, comment on our videos. They do go a long way. And then you could have a Ray Emery, hopefully signed, goalie card coming your way from his days with the Binghamton Senators. And then when we get to 1,000 subscribers, when we can start benefiting on some, currency from YouTube, we're going to use that, reinvest it, and take one of our subscribers to a Sens game on us. Pillsy, myself, we're really excited. We're going to try to get to Ottawa multiple times this year to get to games, but that's going to be the King Daddy Topper. That's going to be a ton of fun, eh?
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And we're hoping to meet fans at the CTC. So what better chance for you to A, see a Ottawa Senators hockey game, and then B, you get to meet us and watch the game with us. So we're excited for that for sure. 1,000 subscribers, that's our goal. Like Ross said, that's when YouTube kind of bumps up their payments. So we're excited about that, and we're looking to grow our brand. And hey, anytime we can go to a hockey game and have a beer or two at the Fan, works for me.
Oh, it's great. We're really looking forward to it. Funny enough, though, Karam wrote in. He's saying, this is my bucket list now, going to that game. Well, airfare is sold separately, Karam. Just so you know, he's in North Wales listening. So we love our UK followers, and there are a lot of UK Sens fans, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to foot the ticket on that flight, Karam.
Yeah, we may need an airline partner, or maybe if one of the airline sponsors the Locked On Podcast Network, we can work on that.
Yeah, if you'd like to sponsor Locked On Senators, if you have a business or whatnot, then reach out, DM us, and also if there's anything that you'd like us to improve on the YouTube, everything's brand new here. Pillsy, you were mentioning?
Yeah, I mean, we're new to the YouTube channel, so if you guys have any fun ideas of things you want to see now that we're not just audio only, if you have questions, it doesn't even have to be hockey related. We can go over stuff. I mean, Ross just showed his dog off. That's the kind of thing we're getting into. So definitely comment on the YouTube page, comment on our Twitter when we open that or post the episodes. We're here for you guys. We're a show for the people, by the people. So whatever you guys want, we're into.
Just trying to make it a little bit better to be an Ottawa Senators fan. Okay, a couple news stories before we get out of here, just quickly. Chris Kelly, now an assistant coach with the Boston Bruins, former Ottawa Senator, top 10 in games played among all Senators ever. And that's pretty incredible. He's also Stanley Cup champion and an Olympic gold medalist. So you put those together. This guy's got quite the resume. It's unfortunate that he didn't stay in Ottawa post-playing career. He started out in player development and then was poached by the Boston Bruins. And this is an awesome opportunity for him to continue to grow outside of his playing career.
Yeah, I think this is a win-win for Chris Kelly and the team because think about it. It's not that long ago that Chris Kelly was playing on that team with guys like Marchand, with guys like Bergeron. So to have an assistant coach that truly understands how to get these guys going, how their gears work, that's such a bonus for not only the coaching staff, but the players, because they have a guy that they trust and they can look to in Chris Kelly that really helps mend that relationship between the coaching staff and the team. Not that there was any problems or anything like that, but definitely Chris Kelly is a great hire. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous that he was an assistant coach in Ottawa, because that's a guy that would be great for this team.
Agreed. Well said, Pilsy. Now, a guy who's 2 years older than Chris Kelly is coming back for another season. Joe Thornton is officially on the Jaromir Jagr tour, where he's just going to sign wherever, however, and for how much he can get. And now, as with most people when they're about to retire or in retirement, he's going to South Florida. The Panthers have added Joe Thornton, and for a young up-and-coming team, like, just think of how good Barkov is already. The amount that he can learn from a guy like Joe Thornton, that's an incredible landing spot for him, I think.
Yeah, I think, again, it's a win-win situation. Like, Joe gets to be in nice weather. He's not going to get hounded by the Toronto media. He gets to play with good young players. Like, it's solid. And
you often see Joe Thornton walking around outside, paparazzi photos without a shirt on. So you might not even have to pack any shirts to go down to Florida.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a San Jose guy. So for him, hockey is going to the rink in board shorts and flip-flops, so he can get back at that.
Yeah, it seems like it was a disappointing year from the sounds of it, but then you look at it and he saw 20 points in 44 games last year. This guy's just a complete disher and a legend of the game. 1,529 points in Joe Thornton's career, Pilsy. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, he's Jumbo Joe for a reason, not just his stature and size, but he puts up big points too.
Yeah, so I threw that to you so I could look this up, and Joe Thornton is 14th all-time in NHL points. And if he gets, let's say, what do you think's a realistic amount for him to get in an 82-game season? 40?
I was going to say 35, so 40. But it depends how they use him, right? Like, if they use him like the Leafs did on, like, one of the top lines or in high-pressure situations, he could really have a lot of success. But I think he'll have a little bit of a lesser role in Florida because they really stocked up on roster players up front.
Well, he's only 4 points behind Mark Recchi for 12th all-time, and Paul Coffey's only 2 points ahead of him. So he's got two guys to jump in the next 5 points he gets. So, hey, the longer that these legends play, the happier it makes us, for sure. But we've got lots more to get to, and hopefully some Sens news that will trickle out throughout the remainder of this offseason. But camps are starting sooner than you may realize. It's almost like objects in the rearview mirror are closer than they appear, because this is a short offseason and we're here for it. But we'll be back on Monday with a Sens Central Citizen. But for today, we say goodbye. Have a great weekend. For Brandon Pillar, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.